Summer Bash is finally here. A big wave of patches have landed. And controversial Dino voting. You're right kids, it's Ross Clark and welcome to your regular ARK community news. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share around and let's get into it. So the Summer Bash is finally out on Steam, PS4 and Xbox of course, with you able to unlock all of the new skins and cosmetics and chibis that you want. I did a guide on this last night, go check it out, I'll leave a link in the description. As well of course as all of the multipliers from 3 times all the way up to 4.5 times. Breeding of course included, and you've got until July the 14th to take advantage of this. But apparently there was some feedback about breeding rates and imprints. Well, Dolly the product manager cleared this up for us, explaining that the imprint bonus is determined by a few different factors. So of course with the world events on Gen 2, if you've got the breeding event active right now, this is going to affect your percentage imprinted. What happens is you'll have more often imprints but at a lower percent. And Dolly's recommendation, if you've got the ability to do so, is get your raising done on other servers so the world event doesn't affect that. There was also a slight issue with the update not dropping to PC servers as intended, but that was quickly resolved. What you found was that some servers just didn't get the update whilst every client did, that's you, and the servers didn't, therefore you couldn't see the servers until they got the update. So to sum up, if you want to take advantage of all of those breeding rates and make sure you get it as most efficient as you possibly can, don't breed on Gen 2. We had a bunch of new patches dropped to all platforms last night too. Xbox and PlayStation got a bunch that were covered on PC previously. If you want to check those out in more detail, I'll leave a link in the description. But there's new ones coming which came to PC last night, which will of course come to PlayStation and Xbox soon too. To run through them quickly, we've got missing cosmetic items from a previous event. Which cosmetic items, we're not too sure, but they are back in the game. A few new bugs and exploits have been fixed, including one where turrets wouldn't shoot unclaimed creatures. The tech pistol, it got a nerf. A good friend of mine, Teacher's Game 2, did a video on this showing how OP it is against bosses, and it really does stack and smash those bosses to Kingdom Come. However, it was seen as a bit too overpowered, understandably, and that's been nerfed, and it's going to be nerfed on console soon too. Your velo spawns have been fixed now. Basically, the original velos were unintended added to Gen 2. They've been removed and replaced with the R variants. There was a case where cryopods were being destroyed when releasing cryopodic creatures. That's been resolved. Net ammo doesn't work within the particular missions where of course you need to trap stuff with the net. People were using this to tame anything they wanted to, and you couldn't do that, so now you can use the net projectiles on only the creatures you're meant to within the mission. There was another C4 bug. I know a lot of people were complaining about that, but that has now been resolved as well. Some level design issues like mesh holes, floating foliage, some sound effects with the Strider, whereby I'm guessing it was the lack of sound when you killed one. There was a bug apparently where you couldn't remove cosmetics from a Shadow Main, that's been resolved. Maywings now have a toggle button for their feeding trough, so you can see the radius of how far they're going to feed out. I've not even tested this yet, I've not had a real good look at the Maywing and all of its breeding abilities, but I will be soon, I promise you, it's coming. There was an issue with the gestation time for the Equus, that's been resolved now. And there was a bug whereby you could use the Stego to improve the timing effectiveness of any creature, which was obviously insane. And again, a good friend of mine, How to Ark, did a video on this, and yeah, it needed to be resolved. It was quite a cheeky exploit. You can't do that. You can't be timing with Stegos. It's not right. So the Lost Island and creature submissions. It's quite a controversial one, this one is. To quickly recap, Lost Island is going to come to all platforms, whereby I mean Steam, PS4 and Xbox later this year, as the new official map to the roster. And with that, we're going to have 3 new creatures, one of which has already been revealed, and I did a video on that, I'll leave a link in the description. But one of them is going to be your choice. You, the community, can submit your creature and get it voted, and it could be the creature we're going to see in ARK, which is a fantastic thing to engage the community and bring them on board to make their most favoured creature an actual one in ARK. And so far there has been so many submissions. There's actually 38 pages of your ideas in the forums. And whilst the rules state you've got until July the 23rd to get your ideas in, whereby after that they'll round up the 10 most liked creatures to complete a vote. That means, from my understanding, the top 10 voted creatures so far on this list are going to be the ones that will go into the final. with certainly some great ideas and submissions. However, there's a bit of an issue surrounding all this that we need to talk about. Said the lead community manager put out a tweet saying, if you want to influence the creature vote, get your communities involved. It's as simple as that. This is essentially a popularity contest. Well, that tweet kind of backfired as content creators out there try to use their communities to help influence votes. One of the big ones that was a shame to see was there was a creature within the ARK Editions mod that was used for voting and was actually put out there, and a lot of people were voting for it. Well, I'm aware since then any reference to Garuga's mod has now been taken out. I think the creature still exists out there, but you can't do that. It's an easy mistake to make, I certainly agree, but just make sure you're not referencing a mod that's already out there. The problem is, of course, and I think this highlights it well, that there's so many mods out there now with so many new dinos and creatures. A lot of these mod creatures are going to appear within this dino submission list. It's going to happen. There's no way to avoid that, but just if you are submitting a creature, just make sure you're not referencing a mod, because obviously the author of that mod has taken a lot of time into putting that thing together, and it's not fair to use their work as reference to your submission. The second big controversial thing out there, Nexus. Arguably the biggest ARK YouTuber out there, who caters for a Spanish speaking audience, put it out there to his community to go and vote for his dino, for his creature, for his submission, the one he wants more in this game. And of course, being the biggest ARK YouTuber out there, he's going to get a lot of people on top of this and voting for it to get it high up in the chart. Now, the issue surrounding this is, on one hand, why not? If you're a big content creator and you want something within the game, you want to influence your submission to be a part of ARK, you're going to do that. You're going to try and get people to jump on board. Any voting system out there works like this. This is the sad state of voting systems, that you can influence them. There's no way around that. But lest we forget, there are 10 spots for the creature submissions to go to vote. So whilst yes, there is one scenario there whereby a content creator has influenced a vote, it's not the end of the world. There are still so many more submissions that are going to be within that final 10. And Said sums it up well, that if you're voting on a creature submission, please vote based on what you want to see in the game, not what someone else told you to vote on. This is you going into the game directly from your feedback. Get involved and make it what you want. And he's so right. This is your one opportunity to get your creature in the game. Make it about you and what you want most within the Lost Island. On top of that, Kudakors, the web and video production lead, did mention that they are paying close attention to users trying to manipulate the system, and those accounts and users will be banned. So they're trying to keep it as fair as they can. And if you want to get involved and submit your creature, here's a few tips. The 3 things you need to do with your submissions is 1, don't just put the title of the creature in the submission list. Make sure you've got a small description. Obviously, we can see here in the top 10, we've got things like After Dinopithecus, Giant Killer Baboon, the Permian King, the Ultra Whale. Give it a description that people can relate to think, a sea creature, I want to learn more about that, whereby they will click through and read more on your post. 2, whatever your creature is, make sure it's got a picture, a point of reference, so people can see what this is meant to look like. People want to know what they're voting for. And 3, go into detail, describe what you want this creature to do, how it's going to perform in the wild, how it's going to be tamed, its abilities, breeding, everything you possibly can. Make it as descriptive as you can. This is your one chance to get your creature in ARK 1. And with all that being said and done, and to almost contradict what I've just been talking about, what are my favourite creatures that I've seen so far? Well, I've tried my best to go right to the very end, to the back of the page, to see what creatures people aren't noticing. And 2 for me certainly stood out, but I'm not going to even attempt to try and pronounce these right. I'll give it my best shot. We know I'm not very good at pronouncing dino names, but we'll give it a go. So Malek put forward the Carcharodontosaurus. I don't know if that's even close, but what I like about this is something that represents a go-between between Rexes and Gigas. For the longest time, Rexes have been the go-to dino for boss fights, at least in my opinion, with Gigas being the next step up as the ultimate carnivore. A go-to that could possibly make the Rex a bit redundant, but maybe just make it a bit more challenging to tame. Something that can just compete with the Giga, just enough to make the Giga wary of this creature. Ideally, I'd love to go to the Indominus, but that's licensed by Jurassic Park and there's no way they're going to get that. So something in between that could just do that job, be a bit more powerful than a Rex, but just powerful enough to combat a Giga. And secondly, we need to see more sea creatures in the sea. And I love this suggestion by Joshua, the Plesiosuchus. But this one I quite like the look of, as it has the ability to crawl out of the water as well, able to almost jump and pounce out of the water at high speed, and has the ability to dismount survivors, keep them in their mouth, and drag them all the way to the seabed. I love that. And also has a vibration detectability, a bit like a snow owl with infrared vision. But above all else, I would love to see a new sea creature in ARK. I think it's been a very long time since we've seen anything new within the sea. So come on, let's make this a sea creature. But don't listen to me. It's not my vote, it's your vote. This is just my opinion. This is just the two that I prefer most, but you decide what creature you want in ARK. It's your decision, not mine. So get submitting, get voting. You've got some time yet to go. July the 23rd. And I would love to know how I can actually rate all these creatures myself. I know a lot of you are asking me to review your submissions, but the problem is there's so many submissions now. I'm not quite sure how to do this quite fairly. So if you've got an idea of how I could do that, comment below, let me know. I really want to highlight the best creatures out there, but in the most fairest way. And finally, the Architect's new Summer Bash event. It's coming on July the 10th and 11th, with registration closing on the 7th, so you need to get in quick. But there's something coming up really cool that I need to shout out. Aaron Longstaff, a good friend of mine, and of course a huge YouTuber out there, is going to be doing a live stream on Monday, going out testing all of the new obstacle courses within this event. But on top of that, myself, Jay Plays Games, Lady Pixra, Terrifier, we're going to be joining Aaron to see what this event is all about. So if you want to check this out, see us having a laugh, trying out all these new events, go check out Aaron Longstaff. I'll leave his YouTube in the description below. And I'll see you there on Monday. Of course, there's more videos to come from me, more top 10s ranked videos, news videos, let's plays. They're all out there, they're coming, they're dropping soon. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is get back on the Let's Play game and try and beat this bloody Voidwoodham. Yeah, long story, it didn't go well, but we're going to try that again very soon. Thanks all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, comment below, let me know. Are you excited for the Summer Bash event? Are you going to get some of the awesome cool new Dino costume skins? Obviously the inflatable Rex costume is the one to have. Are you taking advantage of all of the new breeding rates? Are you submitting your own Dino to the creature submission list? My name's Ras Clark. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and as always, peace out.